Yeah, hi. This is going to be a very short technical issues video from my YouTube channels, and that involves both of them, Rail Families United and the UPNS Merger YouTube channel. And I'm very new to YouTube, but this is not an issue just for me because I looked online for how to fix this, and there's all kinds of problems that people are experiencing with the same issue. And the issue is when in YouTube you are not allowed to have the same playlist technically or the same video on two channels. There's a provision there for reuse or whatever, and you're technically not supposed to be doing that. And I didn't want to do that. When you try, let's say you have a video on one of your channels and you want to move it to your other one, you're supposed to, there's a function where the video is either public, private, or unlisted. You're supposed to switch it to unlisted when you move the video to another channel. Rather than having to re-upload everything, which can take a really long time if you've got a lot of videos to move and stuff. So tried to do that, looked at how you do these things on YouTube, information sessions online and whatever. And of course, it didn't work. I ended up having duplicate videos in my playlist on deadly training materials. I think that's the only one that's impacted by this. But then I thought, okay, I looked at more things. How do you remove duplicates? And the one channel I looked at, and when I went in there and tried to do the delete function, it, it removed both the videos that were the same. It didn't keep one, it removed both. So that, didn't want to keep going. I had attempted to remove the deadly training materials part one, and it removed both copies of it. So I had to re-upload it, and now that messes up my sort because my video number one is the last one to be added to the list. So until YouTube fixes its issues with deleting duplicate videos, and I don't know why that happened, but it's clearly not just an issue for me because there's a lot of people online complaining that YouTube changed their settings and there's no easy way to do this, and there's people trying to give fixes in the background, and quite frankly a lot of these fixes don't seem to work, because if some think that, okay, if you have a playlist and the video was uploaded once, let's say on one day, and then uploaded again on another day, then you can sort by the oldest, newest, and delete one of those because the date would be different. Well, in my case, the dates were the same. It deleted both of them. And I'm not about to risk deleting all my videos because YouTube has this issue with it. I'm going to wait until YouTube fixes its problem, and then I'll try and, redo this. But I have entirely too much work to do, too many videos, too much information to put out to be spending hours and hours and hours looking at YouTube videos to see if somebody's got a fix. I've already spent hours and hours, and I'm at my limit as far as how many hours I'm going to devote to this problem. So if you're a person watching my channels, which you would be if you're watching this, you're just going to have to deal with this issue when it comes to the Deadly Training Materials series. Look for the first one in the playlist, or look for part one, and then part two, part three, part four hopefully will load automatically. So I apologize for that. It's beyond my control at this point. And so the other reminder, I'm not going to be playing with this move playlists from one channel to another. I'm done with that. I'm going to try and limit videos to, if they apply more to the UPNS merger, I will load them there. If they apply more to the Rail Families United channel, I'll load them there. For me, this is really a problem when it comes to issues pertaining to Jim Vena, who is now the CEO of Union Pacific, or anything tied to Claude Mongeau, who was chairman of the board at Norfolk Southern, because They were also very much key players when conductor trainee Jason Cluney was killed, and there was that death cover-up and so many violations of so many laws. So there are definitely some videos that belong on both channels, absolutely. But I don't have time to re-record to make it just a little bit different so I can then re-upload it, on this other channel. I don't have time for that. My best suggestion for you is to look at the playlist on both channels. I will, for now, if it applies more to UPNS Merger, as far as some of the players, some of the issues, I'll load them there because I need the Surface Transportation Board and Americans to see. Anybody looking up UPNS Merger, I need them to see these issues on that particular channel. After the decision is made whether or not to allow that merger to go through by the Surface Transportation Board, and there's a video on the Surface Transportation Board and what they've known and for how long they've known it. So make sure you watch that one too on the UPNS Merger channel. But after, the Surface Transportation Board does its decision on whether or not to allow this merger, then I can move all of those videos back to Rail Families United. But that may take a year and a half, depending on how long it takes the Surface Transportation Board to rule on that merger. So my best advice to you, there is so much critical information. My best advice to anyone who's interested in these issues, whether or not you're a frontline rail worker, whether or not you're a rail investor, a rail customer, a taxpayer, a member of the public who's interested in rail safety issues, my best advice is to look at both channels and look for the videos you haven't seen in the different playlists, because until YouTube fixes this problem, there's no easy way for me to get around it. And I haven't found anybody online that can truly fix this issue. Unless you're a coder, I'm not a coder. And you can, inspect the element and remove the lines of code that you need to remove or whatever. I'm not a coder. I can't do that type of stuff. I worked with programmers when I was in the States, but I would tell them what I wanted them to code, and then I would test to see if they had coded what I wanted. I was not a coder. I would tell the coders what I needed for 3 major in-house applications for a Global 100 company. At the time, it was called Ameritech. Then they joined with SBC Communications, which was another Baby Bell, and then they remerged together with AT&T. So that's where I used to work in Chicago, and I worked there for 10 years or so working. And my work, I'm telling you, I love my work. I love the programmers that I worked with. They were fantastic people. I can never say anything bad about that company. When my mother was ill, I was allowed to go to Canada, take care of my mother for a month before she died, and I could do all of my work remotely. And this was when they had billing based on usage, and I was online all the time, and I had like $1,500, $2,000 phone bills, but the company paid for all of that because I had no backup. My job was critical to the company and fed payroll, accounting, marketing, finance, all kinds of groups, including several divisions. And so, if I have no backup and I'm saying either you let me go work from Canada remotely, or I'm taking an immediate leave of absence to care for my ailing mother. That company was fantastic as far as what it allowed its employees to do when I worked there in their business division. So that's the background to this. Again, I apologize for this, but it is something that is totally beyond my control. So I guess we'll go from there, and hopefully things will be a little bit better. Again, I'm new to YouTube, but it doesn't seem like this is just my issue. There are a lot of people complaining about this issue of unable to get rid of duplicate videos when they're in the same playlist. So again, I apologize. It's beyond my control. We're all going to have to just suffer through that. Focus on the information. That's what's critical here. It's not the, oh, it's the perfect video, it's nice, or my head goes off to the side. Again, I'm legally blind in one eye, and the other eye I had a partial cornea transplant in. And all this computer time is not exactly the best for me. So I'm not willing to spend a ton of extra time on the computer trying to fix these issues with YouTube. Can't do that because it's just going to damage my eyes more. So I need to focus on the issues, and so do you as a viewer. So I thank you for your patience and your understanding in this, and let's get to the issues and just keep going. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next one.